Oh yeah, we got a great one for you today. This is going to be a fun trip, man. Deconstructing the struggle within. Definitely one of the trippiest songs that are on the Resurrection of Black album, as we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of Resurrection of Black. Song Deconstruction is just something I want to share with you, some things that I've done with the music to create the eeriness, the ambience, the scariness, the evilness. That's what the struggle within brings with this crazy audio that's going on. So let me give you some song history, and then we're going to really dive in to deconstructing the struggle within and how I created this song and all the little parts and pieces that I utilized from just a variety of things to create what you hear on the Resurrection of Black album. All right, let's talk a little bit about the history of the song. Now, The Struggle Within was written back in the mid-'80s. I think it was 1985. And I was still playing in that band called Nirvana. Yeah, I know, same name as the Seattle band. Another story for another time, we'll do it. But anyway, so obviously the type of songs that I was submitting for the band, you know, you have The World Around Us. I mean, most of the songs that are on the Resurrection of Black album are songs that we did back in Nirvana. Now, I remember the night before we had a rehearsal, I was messing around with my guitar, just playing around with some settings, and I came up with some really bizarre ambient sounds, and I'm like, whoa, this is really cool. What can I use this for? I gotta put it in a song. So the following day, I actually wrote The Struggle Within. The song was written in one day, and I utilized this weird sound effect that I created with my guitar and created this really bizarre, moody, ambient, scary piece of music, basically. Well, come rehearsal time that evening, I spent all day recording it. And I bring in a cassette tape and I'm like, guys, I got a great song, man. I got a new song I want to introduce into the band. So I play it for the rest of the band. And they just kind of looked at me and they laughed. They laughed at when I had to sing a falsetto part. They just were like, no, dude, no, we're not going to do this song. And the bass player's like, oh, that's a great song to get high to, but no, it's not right for the band. So I was kind of bummed out about that, but I thought, all right, that's fine. No big deal, I'll save it for another time. Now, luckily, I decided to resurrect the song, which is why, again, it's part of the reason why I call the album Resurrection of Black, because it is resurrecting the music that I had done before. And I knew that I wanted to do this song, so I thought, I'm gonna do it. Now, the song basically is about the struggle between good and evil. And there's not really anything in particular that I was thinking about. It's funny, I was dating a girl at the time. I just called her George. What's up, George? I was thinking about some of her bad habits, right? Good habits, bad habits. And I just kind of took that idea and turned it into The Struggle Within. So she kind of was my muse for this particular song. But, again, it's really not about anything. But at the very end of the song, when it gets all crazy and chaotic, it's being sucked down into the bowels of hell, into evil, like evil wins. Oh. So that was the concept of the song. Now, piecing this thing together to what you hear on the Resurrection of Black album was an interesting experience. And I do want to give just a tad bit of musical history so you understand what it was like to create and record music, especially for the demo that I presented to the band, okay? Because we didn't have the technology that we had back then. Hold on one sec, I'm gonna switch cameras here, because listen to this ending. Hear all that craziness? Being pulled into the bowels of hell. Anyway, so that's there you go. That's what the song is about. Now, some history, okay, some music history. In the mid-'80s, we didn't have digital recorders. We didn't have Pro Tools. We didn't have whatever, any of these recorders that you can do non-linear recording, and where you can edit and move things around. And if you want to do a backwards guitar, you could just click a button and it takes that audio file and flips it around. Didn't have that back then. So to create those types of sounds, and like if I want a backwards guitar, how was I going to do it? Well, I have to play a piece and then take a tape or whatever I recorded it on, and then I had to flip it around. And that actually means playing it somehow across a tape head to be able to pick up the sound. And whether you flip the tape over or however you do, I mean, there's ways of doing it. But that was how you did it. There wasn't a button that you could just push and go, okay, that's it. Didn't work that way. So when I was recording my demos back in the day, in the mid-'80s, I had a unit that was a Fostix 250. This was a 4-track recorder. It was a cassette recorder, and as you can see, there's a cassette in the recording unit there. This cassette player uses all 4 tracks, right? On a normal cassette, you got a stereo on one side, flip it over, stereo tracks on the other. Well, the Fostix uses the entire tape, so you can only play it on one side. You flip it over, you can't do it. And, well, you can, but I'm going to talk a little bit about that in my story here, of an accident that did happen. But that's how it records. And the other thing that the Fostix does is that it records at twice normal tape speed because you get better sound quality. So this was the unit that I was using to record all my stuff back in the day. I had an old Roland TR-909, which is like a really popular drum machine. Really, God, that's one of those drum machines I should have sold for a ton of money, and I could have gotten a ton of money for it, but that's a whole other deal. But a lot of rap artists use the TR-909 because of its sound. It was just the best drum machine that was out there at the time, so that's what I used. Anyway, that was the machine that I recorded on. Now, I created really bizarre ambiances, and that's what I wanted to present to the band. I was like, oh, we can do this song, but again, they rejected the song. And when I talk about ambiances, let me share the screen. I'm going to do this first. All right, so here's the original Pro Tools session for the Resurrection of Black album. There is this effect, and I want to make sure I have all the buttons pressed here, that you're going to hear. This effect, this is in the album. This is guitar, right? All these sounds were created by guitar. Matter of fact, what I want to show you is, or have you listened to, is I dug up the original sound of me messing around with the guitar that I used in the demo that I presented to the band back in the day. This is the guitar. All those sounds are guitar. Now, what did I use to create all this crazy, weird stuff? 2 units. 2 simple units. One was an SDE 3000 by Roland. I still have this unit. That's a photo of it, actually. And then I also used, yeah, listen to that. That's wild. Cool stuff. So that was created by these 2 units, the SDE 3000 and the SDE 1000. The 1000 is basically does the same thing as the SDE 3000. It's just that the 3000 is more programmable than the 1000 is. But I just tweaked around with the modulation, with the delay settings, with the feedback, and was just screwing around and came up with some wild sounds. And I thought, man, that is too freaking cool. I got to put that in a song. And I did. And that was part of the catalyst of creating The Struggle Within. So those units, they came in handy for sure. But this is what you did back then. You had to be creative. It's not just something where you can just pull something off the internet and go, oh, it's a neat sound, and just throw it into a digital recorder and then manipulate it. Yeah, it's a lot easier today, But back then, nah, not so much, not so much. So let's get back into the Pro Tools session. All right, so I wanted to create, crazy ambience to really set the tone for this song. So I added a ton of sound effects. Now, the first thing you're going to hear are these chimes, these bells. Now, what's interesting about these chimes and these bells is that was a sound effect, I guess you can say, that I basically stole it from myself. I shot a short film. It was a psychological thriller called Idol, and that movie came out in 2011. And there's a dream sequence where the main character is having this crazy dream about his wife and his daughter, and these chimes happen to have been recorded during the filming of that particular scene. We did it in my parents' backyard, and my mom had these wind chimes that were hanging on the patio, and that's what you hear. And it got through into the production microphone. And what was cool about it was that I took that sound and I utilized it in Idol, the movie, as some of the ambience to create for the weird dream sequence. And I took those wind chimes, and those are actually being played at half speed. If you sped it up twice as fast, then it would sound normal. But it had such an eerie sound, it just fit so well into the movie. So let me share with you the dream sequence. I'll play it, and then listen when you see towards the end, you're going to start hearing these bells. So check this out.
Why do you dote over her the way you do? You're spoiling her.
You're going to start hearing those chimes.
Hi, Daddy.
Now, oh, look at that. Look at that. Can you believe that? Academy Award winning performance. So those chimes I used as part of the sound design that I used in the movie, and I thought, I'm going to use that in this song as well. Now that scream is another piece from Idol that I used in The Struggle Within. I want to share with you one more thing. I'm going to play you the trailer. It's about a minute or so. Check out the movie trailer that I made for Idol. But the thing is, pay attention to the very last part of the trailer, and that is the actress. Her name's Kennedy. She does this awesome scream. That's the scream that I used in The Struggle Within. But yeah, check out the trailer.
Hi, Mr. Riley.
Is it your dad again?
Yeah, but it's okay.
Bethany, get in the car.
We're investigating a missing persons report involving Mr. Wilkins' daughter, Bethany.
What?
Bethany's missing, and we're combing the neighborhood to see if anyone's seen or heard from her.
Beth is missing? All right, get ready. Ah. What a great scream. What a great screamer. But it was perfect for The Struggle Within. So that's where I pulled from different sources. I pulled from my own movie. I used the sound effects that I used for sound design. I took Kennedy's scream, and I kind of came up with other sound effects to create this wild sounding ambience to set the tone for this battle between good and evil of the struggle within. And just putting all that together created just a great ambient sound that makes this song really ominous. Now here's Kennedy's scream, and this is how I use it in The Struggle Within. So that's that scream. Now, of course, what I did reverse her scream. If you play this forward, I'll just scroll through it, and you'll see what it sounds like when it's not in reverse. So that's her scream, but in the song, of course, I wanted to reverse it. Makes it more eerie and creepy. And so in context, now there's this other voice that comes in, and it's just me, just to create a connection between all the crazy sounds and the sound effects into the song. And that's this little vocal line here. And in context, it just ties everything together. Which leads into the guitar solo, and then the song takes off from there. Again, these are just little pieces of audio that creates the song, that creates all the ambience and the mood and the emotion of the song. Now, one thing that I do want to highlight is that there is reverse guitar in the song, which is this. Now, this guitar is actually from a song that I had written called Parasitical Infestation. I know I have these crazy two-word titles. But that backwards guitar, again, I came about using it by accident. Now, remember, on that old Fostex machine, the 4-track machine, I mentioned about the cassette player, or the cassette, that it uses all 4 tracks of the cassette. I had, just by chance, happened to have grabbed that cassette and put it in a regular tape player on side B. And when I played it, it was this, because obviously the recorder records at twice the speed. And it's going to be backwards. So it slowed it down to half the speed, and the guitar riff, part of that guitar riff, was played backwards. And I thought, oh my God, that's perfect. That's perfect. So I took the audio out of the cassette player, plugged it into the audio in of the Fostex 4-track recorder, and recorded that whole backwards piece of music. Now, I want to share with you just a piece of Parasitical Infestation, the actual song. This is this guitar piece that was used in the song, obviously at real time, and this is going to be forward. So here's a piece of the song. This solo section is what was slowed down half speed and reversed. So when you play this, that's the end of the guitar solo. And this is what it sounded like. Pretty wild, but it worked. It worked. But again, back in the day, we didn't have fancy tools to utilize to do it digitally, and so it would be, a real quick fix. We had to come up with creative ways, and this was one of the creative ways. As a matter of fact, this piece of music that is in the song on Resurrection of Black, this version of it, that backwards guitar is the same piece that I used in the demo back in 1985. Another thing that I wanted to share with you is that, way back when, there was this whole thing about backward masking. And backward masking basically is these weird subliminal messages that were created that were demonic and satanic and this and that and the other. There were religious groups that made a big deal about this. Oh, if you play Stairway to Heaven backwards, you hear all these satanic messages. And then other bands, there was Pink Floyd, there was ELO even did something of, evil, 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 right? So, you know what, 9 out of 10 times, it wasn't done intentionally. I mean, when you play Stairway to Heaven backwards, you're going to hear these things, right? You may hear it because people are telling you this is what it says. And then when people say that, that now preps your subconscious to look for those phrases. And you go, oh, I heard it. So that was just a big deal. And there were a lot of religious groups that were like, saying rock music, satanic, this and that and the other. Well, I wanted to have a little fun with that. Now, there were some bands that actually did backward masking that did it on purpose. For example, Pink Floyd. If you listen to the Wall album, listen to the song Empty Spaces. And before the vocal comes in, you're going to hear some weird gibberish. That's backwards. And they put it in there on purpose, backwards. Because when you flip it around and you play it, it's somebody giving, it's I think Roger Waters or somebody giving an address. Check it out. You'll never listen to that song as the same again. But it was done on purpose. And even ELO did something on purpose in one of their songs. I forget the song that it was. But a lot of times that it was something that wasn't done intentionally. But I wanted to play around with that. So I did some backward masking, but I did it differently. Usually, like in the Stairway to Heaven case, you got to play that turntable backwards to hear this. Anyway. So I actually learned how to pronounce these words backwards, record it, and then flip it in reverse so that when you play it back, it sounds like English, right? It sounds like the words that you're saying. So it wasn't saying the words normally and then flipping around and having them play backwards. It's saying the words backwards and then flipping in reverse so that you can hear it normally. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a little spin on this, and so that it says, God will destroy Satan, right? It's positive. So, okay, religious groups, you can't jump all over me, man. I got something positive I'm saying. So this is the clip, okay? Check this out. God. God will destroy Satan. All right, so I didn't record it that way, obviously. This is played backwards, yet you can understand what's being said. Now, let me do a little audio reversal so you can hear how I actually recorded it. It sounds like this. This is how I actually recorded it.
Your choice, a little dark.
All right, that's how I recorded it. And then, of course, I flip it around and you get there you go, right? See, it's positive. I'm not promoting evil. Just fun stuff, all right? Fun stuff to do. But you know what? When I did that, I also did this clip back when I recorded the demo in 1985, but I had to find out a way to record it. So I used the 4-track. I believe I used the 4-track, and I was able to speed up my cassette player to play twice the speed so that it would still be in normal speed. and then flip the tape over so it would play backwards. You got to be creative, man. You got to be creative. This is what was so great about doing music back in the day, because you were able to do things and be really creative about it. All right, so diving into the actual music of the song, of course, the guitars come in. You got your rhythm guitar, you got the lead guitar that comes in. Now the clean guitar and rhythm guitars are very nice and clean, and there's like a softness and an innocence to it, and that's, I purposely recorded it this way. Again, 2 tracks, doubled, played them twice, none of this copying and duplicating. And then, of course, that's when the solo comes in as well. One thing that I do want to show you, and just to highlight, is the drums and the bass. Matt, of course, we got Matt Bissonette on the drums. We got Matt Bissonette on bass, his brother Greg on the drums. I don't know why I keep getting all dyslexic about that, but I want to just highlight bass and drums. Matt played fretless bass, 5-string fretless, and his phrasing, of course, is impeccable. And just the way these two awesome musicians just gel together is just really amazing. That sliding down two strings at a time. Now this riff is great. Cool riff, and what I like about that and what makes that little bass riff so cool is the fact that he throws that in between my guitar phrasing. So when you hear it in context, ready? It blends in so well, and this is why I love working with Matt, because he knows when to play, when not to play. You know, it's just really amazing. Now during the solo, there's some really great things that Matt does, which I want to highlight for you. Listen to the drums too. Now listen to this. Low B string, note, awesomely cool. Hits a note, the note sustains, slides on another string on the fretless, which you hear, then does a double slide, 2 strings. Man, just brilliant. So let's hear this in context with the music. Here we go. It fits right in. It sounds fan-frickin-tastic and really gives just emotion into the actual song. Incredible stuff. And of course, at the end of the song, we have just nothing but craziness and chaos, because that is how the song ends. All right, there's all this craziness. So here's the end of the song. It's being sucked into the bowels of hell. Hear that scream? Clawing. Help me. Those are my screams.
Get me out of here! No! No!
I tell you, sometimes that inner dialogue can be like that. Like if you're at a family reunion and you're feeling like this, get me out of here! Anyway, so the song ends on just craziness and all sorts of weird sounds. And then we're done. So the point that I want to make is this. If you're a musician, learn your craft. and do things creatively. Don't be just tied down to working on your digital system. Yeah, it's easy and it's convenient and it's helpful. It really is. I get it. But also, be creative. This is something that's lacking in music today. Like I really miss being able to hear other artists do things creatively. Oh yeah, I had to take a piece of tape and splice it and cut it and flip something over, and I recorded this sound. And watch documentaries about Star Wars and how the sound designer created the sounds for Star Wars. That's what I'm talking about, being creative that way. There's an element of that creativeness that's missing in music today. And it sounds so like mechanical and soulless, really, because you're sucking the life out of the music when you try to make things so perfect. Little piece of advice for you, okay? And again, if you call yourself a musician and all you're doing is just putting together loops, sampling, taking other people's music, sticking them in your computer program and chopping them together, and you call yourself a musician, newsflash, my friend, you're not. You're not a musician. You're a frickin' computer programmer. That's not musical talent. You're an IT guy. All right? That's not your music. That's not creativity. So do something creative, all right? One of the Gary Newman concerts I went to, he had an opening act. I don't even remember the guy's name because it was that not memorable. And that's all he did. He had a computer on a stand and a microphone. And he's jumping all crazy around, looked like a frickin' idiot, like a chicken with his head cut off. And then he'd go over to his computer and then he'd stop, right? He's all running around and he stops, hits a button, and then something changes in the music or whatever. It's like, dude, you're not a musician. You're a frickin' computer programmer. And that is not exciting to watch on stage. I don't care how stupid you look bouncing around on the stage, running around. And, to top it off, the music sucked too. So that was another bad thing. But you know what? No, that's not entertaining. I want to see bands play. I want to see musicians play. I want to see people who can actually play an instrument play it. Because to me, that's creative. That is creativeness. That is so much more enjoyable. There's a connection that is there that you get when you are watching and experiencing a great musician, all right? Don't be the computer programmer calling yourself a musician. Be a real musician, right? Singers work hard at it. Guitarists work hard at it. And whatever instrument you play at, you work hard at it to be great at what you do. So be great at what you do, all right? Well, we're going to do other song deconstructions from Resurrection of Black while we celebrate the 10th anniversary of Resurrection of Black, my debut album. And we're going to talk more about ER because I am in the process of recording the third album, ER. Mike Mangini sounding great. All the musicians are sounding great. The pieces are coming together. It's pretty awesome. I want to share with you some clips on this journey. So subscribe to this channel. Tell your friends about it. Tell your coworkers about it. Tell your family members about it. Tell them to subscribe. Send it to all your enemies. I don't care. Get them to subscribe to the Laire YouTube channel because I don't want you to miss out on any more editions of Raw and Unfiltered. And to wrap things up, of course, I'm going to give you your assignment. And of course, that is this. When you're out and about in the world, smile at a stranger. Say hello to them. Give them a compliment. That's the amount of time that it takes for you to do that. But that small gesture of kindness can make the world of difference in somebody's life. So be a life changer. Be a life changer. All right? All right, my friends, I will talk to you on the next edition of Raw and Unfiltered. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, spread the word, and boy, we're going to have another great episode next week. You have a great week in the meantime.